Hello everybody, welcome to Squiddy's Shit Guide to BDO Classes. Much like my previous guide, a lot of people like to ask the other question as to what class should I play? Or the other sub questions as which class makes the most money, which class is the best grinder, which class does this the best, blah 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 blah. Look, alright, once again, just like the previous video, the questions ask, what do you like to do in MMOs? What do you just all the same questions. Like, it's the same fucking thing. This video aims to help you understand BDO classes. I will not be just suggesting you whatever the hell you want to play. I'm going to tell you from my experiences what I believe are the easiest classes to play that are good for grinding, that can hold their spots, so on and so on. I will not just tell you play this because play this. I'm just gonna give you some information about the class and see if it fits you. Before we get into this, I do need to at least give a small example of what it means to grind, because there are two different types of grinders. You have grinders that work well in low-end grind spots like Manshums or whatever, and then you have high-tier grinders that work at like Star's End, Historia, Kratuga, stuff like that. There are two different kinds, so you need to understand these. So the first example would be Musa versus Berserker, right? I say first example, it's just this example, but Musa excels at lower end grind spots like Manshums or Gahas. The reason being is for mobility. Unlike the Berserker, the Musa can just be incredibly fast to move between mobs like crazy, one-shot them with basically one ability, and the Berserker on the other hand is better at high-end grind spots like Star's End, Historia, Kratuga, etc. He's much more tanky, he has better AoE damage, and overall he doesn't need the movement because most packs are typically close in range and take about, a little less than a minute to kill. So if you have the AP, go to Star's End. It's not like the Musa can't grind Star's End, but like Berserker just does it better. Just Musa will typically struggle in higher tier grind spots. It's not like they can't do it, but just, their lack of protections and cooldowns and whatnot, just it makes it a little difficult, But the point being, there are different ways for grinding on each class, so that's just the way it is. Some do better than others. That statement can also be said for PvP as well, but that's not really the focus here. I will be talking a little about it, but it's not really the main point of the video. I want to help you guys understand PvE, how to make money, so on and so on, before moving forward into PvP stuff. So let's go ahead and start with Striker. This class is incredibly good with both PvP and PvE. Succession is where it's at when it comes to grinding. He just dominates with little to no effort, and even with minimal skill points, he does a dummy thick amount of damage without breaking your fingers either. He's probably an S tier grinder in most high-end grind spots in Succession, but drops to about low A to maybe high B tier for lower end grind spots, so you can still manage to grind Mansions and stuff like that. It's just not going to be as faster as some other things, but no matter what, he's going to be an incredible grinder regardless when it comes to late game. Awakening Striker also is very good for grinding, but is definitely outclassed by Succession in most ways. I do need to say that Awakening is 10 times cooler than Succession, but hey, I'll always say that if you give me a stand for any class realistically, so it is what it is. The next class up is Witch/Wizard. Okay, calm the fuck down, everybody. All right, listen. This is PvE related. All right, you don't care about this. You don't care how fast the Witch/Wizard grinds. You don't care. All you care about is Node War Siege nerf. Okay, look, just let it ride. All right. Now with Witchards, they are kind of getting nerfed in the coming months. Not kinda, they are definitely getting nerfed hard. It's debating right now whether or not it's enough to be considered fair enough, but we'll see with the coming months. But most likely PvE will be the same, if not better, with some heavy damage buffs incoming. Yes, I just said the Witchards are getting nerfed, but they're also getting buffed. They're losing some super armors on their abilities, but they're gaining an incredible amount of damage on some of their other abilities, so it's sort of a trade-off. But as of right now, currently, they are the dominant in every aspect of the game and face roll every other class. But if we're to consider the nerfs that are coming in the next months, I would say they are still going to be incredibly powerful grinders in both low-end and high-end grind spots. This makes them an easy pickup for new players that are interested in a magical caster type class, but, it's going to be debated on the nerfs and stuff. I don't think their PvE is anything to be looked at. I don't think anyone cares how fast they grind or anything, but personally, I think that they're going to be just still fine when it comes to grinding. They're going to still pull in hella trash loot. They're going to make a lot of bans. And if you guys are interested in a caster magical man, there you go. Witchards are your choices. I would say Sage currently, but it's just got released for console. We know he's broken right now. Succession is absolutely retarded. Awakening is fine, but some people are complaining about it, so I won't put Sage on here for the sake of just, confusion. The next class is going to be Guardian. She's a phenomenal endgame grinder with decent mobility but slow animations. A lot of people get the two mixed up where they're like, oh, she's so slow. Look, she's not slow, okay? Her animations are slow. Her mobility is fine. She can move from pack to pack just fine. There is zero reason to talk about how fast she is when it comes to moving, but animations, yes, they are very slow. Another good part about her is that she has low gear score requirements to be amazing in most grind areas. You can easily grind History of Krituga or even Star's End with 245 Kudum. That's incredibly good. I couldn't do that shit even if I wanted to on my Zerker, but as of, I'm way higher than that. But the point being is that if I wanted to, that would not work. Her PvP is also decent enough in case you have to defend your grind spot, but overall her massive AoEs and damage output makes her a very easy entry point to get into when it comes to classes. Also, look at those thighs, baby. You know you want that. Next up, we have the Warrior. This is probably the best or next to the best 1v1 dueler in the game, currently with a heavy block and grab plus good mobility. He's just incredibly good when it comes to PvP dueling. He's phenomenal. As for grinding, he sucks at low end, but high end he is incredibly good with both Succession and Awakening are fairly viable, but I believe Succession does outclass Awakening in basically the high end grind spots. So if you're grinding, go Succession. If you're dueling, fighting, whatever, you're probably going to want, Awakening. But let's be realistic. You're going to choose Awakening because the big fucking sword. All right. And I totally understand that. All right. Listen, I promise you this isn't a meme. Okay. Next up, we have Shy. Look guys, this is not a joke, okay? The Shy has amazing passes for gathering and alchemy, which make her a great life skiller, but also she fucking does dick loads of damage to mobs when grinding. Not only does she debuff everything into the dirt, but also she can be tanky as hell with DP gear, and she has amazing sustain with her heals. And like as I mentioned, the damage output is phenomenal, but at the end of the day, she loses to every single class in this game when it comes to PvP. You're not going to be winning any 1v1s unless the guy's a genuine idiot or has zero gear. So just go into the Shy knowing that PvP is basically death for a non-DP Shy. That's just a reality. But not to say that you can't play her, it's just, defending your spot is basically non-existent. You're going to have to be subservient and probably pass through. However, with the tag system, tagging a Shy is actually not a bad idea. You just have to level up the Artina Soul yourself. Instead, you can't tag the Dandy. But outside of that, you can definitely tag a Shy to another character that does incredibly well in PvP. So you can have a phenomenal grinder and a phenomenal PvPer. So that's what, that's tagging, baby. My last class I'd like to mention is the Musa, and I kind of already said a little bit about him, but I wouldn't be doing him justice without covering him fully. Now, the Musa is a god tier low end grinder, but he can do high end, just not as good as something like Witch Wizard. So even if you main him, you will survive all the way to end game and be able to do every place of content. But it's just, there's going to be some areas where he's going to pull less trash than somebody else. I'd like to also mention his PvP is not bad either. Succession is incredible for dueling, especially with evasion gear. He does dick loads of damage with very good mobility, plus with high AP, even a little lower AP than normal, he still hurts quite a bit. Awakening PvP is definitely for open world and 1vx scenarios. You want to stack accuracy as much as possible, as evasion doesn't necessarily work with Awakening too well. But Awakening has incredible mobility. I mean, like, Succession has good mobility, right? But the thing about it is Succession has like horrible stamina control, and with Awakening you've got great stamina regen with Fiery Angel, not to mention just he can dash around much faster with the Awakening weapon out, so overall he just moves stupid fast. If you guys are wondering which is better for grinding, definitely Awakening. Succession is more of, PvP class in my opinion. Can you still grind on Succession? Absolutely, but for sure Awakening outclasses it in most scenarios, so just bear that in mind. I think Awakening in general is probably better depending on your situation. Dueling, Succession, PvX, not PvX, I'm sorry, 1vx scenario, Awakening does better. Grinding, Awakening does better, so just bear that in mind. Anyway, those are kind of just my suggestions. If you have any questions about classes, drop them down below. I'm sorry if I didn't get to every single class, but that would be like a 2-hour video. Not necessarily, but it would be very long, and I don't like doing long videos, so just drop a question about a class and I'll answer it to the best of my knowledge. But anyway, that's it for today's video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Yeah, she knows I'm the one. Yeah, she knows I don't need no cutting.